Should you buy, wait, or run from the housing market? We've got a lot to discuss, and it's all coming up. Stay tuned. Hi, this is Warren Oberholser. If you're new here, my channel is all about what's going on with the residential real estate market, both nationally as well as locally. So if this sounds interesting, please consider subscribing so you don't miss anything. In this video, I'm going to discuss when you should consider buying, waiting, and when you should run, not walk, from the housing market. If you watched my last video, I discussed what could happen if we have a recession to our current residential housing market. I think it's pretty clear that inflation has become a runaway train that needs to be slowed down greatly. In the latest report, inflation dropped down a little bit. I think it's at 8.3, but that's still way above the pre-pandemic level, which was 2%. We're seeing elevated prices in gas, groceries, and new cars. In Redfin's latest report, demand for homes is falling, but homes are still selling fast as the buyers who remain rushed to beat rapidly rising mortgage interest rates. They continue with, the share of homes for sale with price drops shot up to a 7-month high of 60% during the 4th-week period. As early-stage home buying demand, as measured by, now this is according to Redfin's own analytics, which is called the Home Buyer Demand Index. Apparently in the last week, it fell 7%, which is the largest decline since April of 2020. They continue to state that we're seeing more price drops in the recent weeks, and home buyers are starting to find some relief from competition. People have been looking for a long time and were consistently getting beaten out by other buyers are starting to get their offers accepted. Now keep in mind, residential real estate is hyper-local. This report is a cross-section nationally. Many cities are still getting bidding wars and prices are going well over the asking price, as noted in their opening statement. I'm located in Northern California, San Francisco region, more specifically in the East Bay Tri-Valley area. I'm going to take one of the cities out of the Tri-Valley area. We'll just look at Pleasanton here. I know it pretty well because I live here and I've had several listings in the last year or so. One thing I've noticed just from last year to this year is the aggressiveness of the buyer. And when I had a couple that came on the market this year, I was clear to the homeowner that, look, we want to get it on the market yesterday. We don't want to wait, because I think they're reaching out to me the end of February saying, hey, we want to go on the market. When do you think we should get the home ready? And I go, it's already ready. Trust me. We just got to, do a few things, take pictures and do our due diligence as far as disclosure, but we want to get it on the market soon. So I had one in Pleasanton go on, I think the middle of March. And then I had one in the beginning of March, which is actually in Livermore. But the point I'm saying is I advise my homeowner, my seller, to get it on the market, because at that time, interest was just starting to crest 4%. We're looking at probably, 4.2, 4.3. So I knew we still had some strong buyers out there, and I wanted to take advantage of that. So my point is, unless the house was priced, way above the last sold comp, you were getting 6, 7 offers within the first week. As I've said before, these were very aggressive offers. They had released all their contingencies up front, and the price was, I think, 10, 15% over the asking. Here's where we are. I just ran this report a couple of days ago. This is in Pleasanton. So again, every market's different. I have people looking at this nationally in Chicago, Idaho, Texas. Just know that this was that area that had a lot of competition because we're so close to the tech area. Google, Facebook, LinkedIn, they're all in the Santa Clara, Silicon Valley area, and the Tri-Valley feeds that. These are the bedroom communities for that area. So normally nothing would stay on the market more than maybe 5, 7 days. These are just active listings, and you can see here 7 days, 27 days, 8 days, 13 days, 28 days on the market, 25 days. This is unheard of, okay? This is unheard of. Even 13 days is kind of pushing it. But again, 24 days, you're seeing a lot of hang time longer on the market. Not across the board, but you are seeing that opportunity. So let's go back. Should you buy? Should you wait? Should you run away? There's always a deal to be found. But don't go after 7 days on the market or 2 days. Go after something that's been sitting there for at least 15 days, because most likely that seller will consider an offer that's better terms for the buyer as far as price, and especially your contingencies. I've talked over and over about this. I really want to start to see, if you're financing it, the appraisal and the loan to be in to be in place when you submit your offer, not to be released up front. And then there should be an investigation contingency that is still open for the buyer. Whether the seller ran inspections or the buyer chooses to run inspections once they get into contract, you should always have inspections. But the point is, if they see something that the seller should consider repairing, they have the opportunity to send a repair request per the rules of engagement on the contract. Now, every area is different, every state's different. Talk to your realtor, you will figure that out. But if you release all those contingencies up front, as it is in California, you don't have the opportunity to reach out to the homeowner as the buyer and say, could you correct the section 1? That's if there's termite issues or damage to the wood framing. Or could you take care of this safety issue as far as electrical thing? That's going to be off the books if you release that up front. Now there's opportunities in here. So I'm just talking about days on the market. Now let's look at the ratio of properties that are active versus properties that are pending and those that have sold. Now, as far as sold, I just went back a month. Usually when we're really trying to look at comps, we may go back further, like sometimes 4 or 5 months. This is just a quick study to see what has happened in the last month. That's when interest rates really climbed. So if you look here, properties that are active on the market, 54. Properties that are pending, 37. Now that number would normally be reversed. You were going to see active 25, 35, and then pending is going to be 60, 70. That's the way it's been for 2 years since the pandemic. So this is really a turnaround. And this is one of those things too, as far as, is there an opportunity here? You got to pick what property could give you the best opportunity for your money and for your terms. And now let's look at solds. Number of solds, only 20. So it means you've got 57 active. You've got half, a little less than half that as far as pendings, 37, and solds are a quarter of that. So that tells you that the market is really turned on its ear, because normally that number for solds would match pendings. For that reason, I would definitely have your real estate agent, if you're buying, go through the MLS and see what property has been sitting for 3 weeks, reaching out to the listing agent to see if they can broker a deal that's good for you as well as for the seller. When should you wait? Well, if you can't afford this price, whatever the market is, even as it's slowing down a little bit, as I discussed, if this is still way above your ability to purchase and hold on to that home, especially if it needs repairs, then I don't know if the word is wait. I think I would just go to the next part of it, which is run. And I would try to find an area that's more acceptable to your price point. I've said this a few times. I even have another real estate channel, if you're in the Northern California area, that has areas that are more, I don't want to say suitable, but just easier price points and more acceptable terms and more inventory that is about 60 miles away from the Tri-Valley or the tech area where I'm at, which is the real hot area. So wherever you are, whether Arizona, whether you're in Oregon, you're in Idaho, I'm sure there's a real popular area where everybody's just going nuts. That's the area. If you can't afford, look to another area that you can move to. You'd be surprised. They still can have good schools. They still can have properties that you like, maybe even more opportunities, more land for your money. The thing that has really changed the game, it's been a double-edged sword since the pandemic. I mean, prices have gone through the roof, and that has been really tough for buyers. But the thing that's been a game changer for employees is the remote work from home opportunities. And I don't think that's going away. I think that's something you really should explore. And I think that could start to balance out the market in a different way. One thing about a recession, I don't know what will happen if we go into one, how it'll affect us and to what degree. I've heard all kinds of guesstimates of what would happen. If we go into a dire straits like happened in 2008, well, unless you have all the money on the side to buy your home and you don't need income from a job, that will hurt you as well. And I mean you, meaning the buyer. So, that expression, be careful what you wish for. I don't know if that's the solution to get us out of this housing crisis. I think there's solutions out there, but we just have to dig and look a little harder. And that could be, when I say run, I don't mean run away from it, but find an area that you could go to that could give more opportunities. So if you're a buyer and you've been looking for property, let me know in the chat down below or in the comments how it's going. Did you get into a property since interest rates went up? Is it easier? If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Post your questions and comments down below. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, consider doing so you don't miss anything. If you found this video interesting, you may want to watch these other two that are starting to pop up just about now, because I'm going to go into a lot more detail on what I just talked about. So stay tuned. I have more helpful videos like this coming soon. Please reach out to me for any of your real estate questions or needs. And I wish you all the best on your home journey.